Hello, mic testing. Hello. Good morning. Can you all hear me? Good morning. Good morning. Jai Hind, everyone. In my previous video, I had covered the aspects of the written examination predominantly in the series of our videos for joining the NDA. Now, as far as the part 2 is concerned, which is all about joining NDA, and I have included the other academies also because this is the same aspect of the clearing the SSB, which is the second most important thing. Once you get your call letter, will be covered in today's video in a little bit of detail, and you will see that the same process is for the Naval Academy, Indian Military Academy, Officers Training Academy, or probably the any academy with which the broad guidelines will be the same for the SSB. So that is why I have included Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, and the Officers Training Academy also into this title which I have put on. Now, now see the number of selection centers, or once you get your call letter, you will be allotted a particular selection board. Now, when we talk of a selection board, in case of the Indian Army, you will find that in a center like Allahabad, you will find a number of boards are there. So, this is just to keep you informed about the service selection boards which are pan India. Like in the army, we call them as selection centers, wherein in Bangalore you have two SSBs. One is 24, the other one is 17. And you will get a specific center, and then you will also be specified the selection board also. So you will find that Bhopal has got three SSBs, Prayagraj has got five SSBs, and Jalandhar has got two SSBs, which are that makes it 12 SSBs for the Indian Army. Obviously, the intake is slightly more than the other two services. As far as the Navy and the Air Force are concerned, like Air Force has got Dehradun, Mysore, Varanasi, and Guwahati. Now, they are sequentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how I have given. And as far as the naval selection boards are concerned, one is in Coimbatore, one is in Bangalore, Vishakhapatnam, Bhopal, and Kolkata. Earlier, most of the naval selection boards used to be co-located with the army selection centers. Now, in terms of Kolkata, Vizag, and Coimbatore, they have a separate board which is placed there. The selection centers are generally commanded by a rank by a senior officer of the rank of Major General, and as far as the other selection boards are commanded by a rank of a Commodore or an Air Commodore in the case of Air Force. Okay. Now, once you get a um, call letter, now in the call letter you will have. Just want to reiterate, request go through each and every paragraph of this call-up letter thoroughly before commencement of journey. So he has put it in a box, and this is probably an NDA 154. I have put you a copy. Like you will find that each and everything is for selection center South. which is in Bangalore. Now you will find that it is always advisable to read each and every paragraph because a number of things will be self-explanatory in that. However, like once you get your call letter, you will have to immediately get into action as far as your travel plans are concerned. Like most of the SSBs considering the NDA entry, you will find that the entry you will have to report at 0600 hours on a particular date. Let's take it for convenience as a Monday, which generally is done in the Indian Air Force. Like you will find that in AFSB, you will be reporting on a Monday morning in the selection board. Now, you will have to reach 1 day prior. Maybe you will have to have a night halt in that place so that you will be reaching there. So when you do your reservations, there are other aspects which I would like to mention you. They are like you will have to book tickets of return journey on the day one, which will be Monday. God forbid you do not clear the screening test, you should be having that day. And if you clear the phase one test, which I will cover, after that, you will have to book on the fifth day. If it is not a pilot entry, if you don't get recommended in the selection board, then you may have to get back on the fifth day. And if it is a pilot entry and you are going to appear for the CPSs, in that case, you will have to book it on the Saturday or the sixth day because sixth day will be your PABT or the CPSs, which is called nowadays. So you will have to plan in this manner, and you will also have to have the accommodation plan. Like if you are reporting at 6 o'clock, maybe you would like to sleep early before the day one, and you will have to get up in the morning. And probably similarly, these are minor aspects which any person will know. But I am just telling you because certain times the candidate reaches the selection board late, and at times they get disappointed because their candidature is not accepted before a particular time. So punctuality is important, and for that maybe you'll have to sleep early, you'll have to work backwards. And that is why I say travel plan, booking tickets, accommodation before reporting, and also appropriate clothing. You are going for a AFSB Dehradun, it will be cold in January. So generally the even courses 154, 156, you will have to remember that if you are reporting to Dehradun, maybe you will have to get your clothing accordingly. Especially I remember one of my known persons, he was from Vishakhapatnam. He goes to Dehradun and he suddenly finds that it's extremely cold. So you will find that kitting and clothing you will have to cater. And if some parents or somebody is accompanying, maybe they'll have to do their leave planning. And last but not the least is about the documentation. You will have to carry the documents which are mentioned, and there are at times wherein you will find that the document check may put somebody into a tight spot wherein he has to keep running around later on. Now, I will go through the SSB process in day wise. On day one, you will find that the reporting will be there in the morning, and thereafter screening will be taking place. So on day one, you will be reporting at around 6 o'clock in the morning, and thereafter there will be they will check your call letter, and they will also probably check a basic check like your Aadhaar card, and probably, and then they will give you allot you chest numbers before you are taken up for the phase one testing. So once my advice to you is to have a small pet bottle of water and probably prepare yourself for the upcoming activities. So it is better to be prepared. And the first test which you will have is the officer intelligence rating test. This has got verbal and non-verbal tests will be there. Syllabus. I made one video. SAINIK Gurukul has got a video specific for this. You might see that. However, I'll cover a small aspect onto this. That is, you will get 2 booklets and 40 questions will be approximately there, and it will take 15 to 17 minutes. At times there is one odd set which is about 25 minutes. They don't repeat the sets. However, you will find that they are not, I would say, or they are of average difficulty. That's what I would say. And this OIR rating is utilized at 2 places. One is during your phase 1 evaluation of phase 1 result, and also it is utilized in phase 2 by the interviewing officer and also the psychologist. They both have this information with them. Obviously, it's a pen and paper test, and you will have, as far as the verbal test is concerned, these are the aspects which are there. There are some aspects for the non-verbal test. Now, as far as the phase 1 testing is concerned, the second aspect will be the picture perception and description test. Now, in this test, you will be shown a picture for 30 seconds. The picture will be regarding, probably you'll have to, might appear hazy, and it is for a purpose which they keep it. And after that, you will get 1 minute wherein you will be writing down the number of characters, the age, sex, mood, and probably the action part in which you will write. Thereafter, you will be given 4 minutes to write down what you perceive has happened, what led to the situation, what is happening right now, and what is the most likely outcome as perceived by you. Now, for that, you will get 4 minutes. Thereafter, in the second part, this is the story writing part. Thereafter, you will be taken in a group of probably 12 to 16 or 12, 15 people, wherein you will be seated and you will be narrating your story in the prescribed format, and thereafter you will be discussing, the group will discuss to get on to a consensus which most of you will be agreeing upon. So that becomes your phase 1. After the discussion happens, the 3 assessors will evaluate, and the results are generally announced by around 12 to, 12 to 1, 2 or something like that, depending on the number of the size. Now you will realize that there is a, I would say there's a lot of, I would say there is a fixed percentage with which come inside, or I would not say it is a fixed percentage. You will find that this is like an elimination route. There might be people who don't qualify phase 1, and people who qualify phase 1 only will be taken up for the phase 2. Now, once we have cleared the phase 1, I will move on to the phase 2 part. Now, as far as phase 2 part is concerned, you will again be, after announcement of phase 1 results, you will again be given chest numbers, which will be your new chest numbers, which will be till your conference. And in that, there will be another document check. Probably they'll give you a small tea break after lunch break or whatever. And then you will be writing your personal information questionnaire. Now, this is like a simple biodata. One officer will be there who will be guiding you, and he will ask you to fill up your PAQ or the personal information questionnaire. There are a number of videos on this. However, like basic, you should be genuine, and probably this is an opportunity to project the right picture of yourself. And then you will have around 5:30 or probably 4 to 6, you can say, you will have your psych test. That is why the point to be remembered is that you should have good sleep the previous night before you report. Okay. Now, once you start your psych test, that will be on, you will finish the psych test on day 1. Thereafter, you will have your group testing and interview arranged in a manner in the next 3 days. That is second day, third day, and fourth day. Group testing is having 9 tasks, which will be probably, it will be divided into 2 parts, and the interview will be around 45 minutes to 1 hour probably, and then you will have the conference on the day 5. On the same day, which is if you assume Monday as a reporting, Friday will be your announcement of your results. That will be your phase 2 result. When you finish your phase, once you clear your phase 2 result, then depending on the branch which you have applied, considering pilot's branch, if you have, then on Saturday or on the 6th day, you will have the CPSS. And thereafter, you will be proceeding for the medical test depending on the center or the selection board you have. Certain places, like if you go to Dehradun, you will have to come to Delhi for your medicals. If you do it in Mysore, probably they'll send you to Bangalore. And similarly, in the army also, like if it is Bhopal, there is the facility. Depending on the facility, you will be directed. And if you are in class 12, and especially the January people, they are given date accordingly, considering the catering for the academics. And another point I would like to tell you is, as of now, as on today, Guwahati and Gandhinagar, these two selection boards do not have the CPSS. So the Gandhinagar people generally proceed to do their CPSS in Mysore. So there will be a gap of time. So that also you'll have to keep it in mind. Thereafter, your medical test will be done. Once you clear your medicals, thereafter, you will have to wait for a couple of months wherein you will be getting your joining instructions if you make it in the merit list. Now, this is the broad guideline with which it goes. And all this SSB becomes the part of the personality and aptitude test. You can call it as personality and aptitude test. After you, this is what the UPSC calls it. Now, what do they check in the when we said no personality and aptitude test? This is checked with respect to the officer-like qualities which are probably given by the DIPR, and it has got basically the qualities which are desirable to become an officer. Now it has got basically four parts. One is your the qualities of your head, and the qualities of your heart, the qualities of your gut, and the dynamic qualities or the qualities of your leg. Now, if you see that these officer-like qualities give these officer-like qualities are deciding the number of marks you are getting later on. Now, as a human being, we will have some pluses and some minuses, this which we will discuss later. Now, as of now, if you see the quality of the head, we are talking of effective intelligence, reasoning ability, organizing ability, and the power of expression. So, the qualities of head which we talk of, we are not talking here about abstract intelligence. So the person who probably he's scoring very high marks in a written exam may not be having the practical intelligence. So this is something which is slightly different. Practical intelligence, resourcefulness, and these kind of things. The reasoning ability is your ability to how quickly, what is your uptake, what is your grasp, do you find the essentials in a problem, and these are the things which are there in the reasoning ability. Reasoning ability is slightly different from organizing ability. You might have a restricted reasoning ability, but you might still be able to manage your resources in the correct manner, or you are more methodical in your approach, then that becomes your organizing ability. And power of expression has got two aspects. One is your, I would say, it actually, the written power of expression decides your psych. This thing, as far as the spoken is concerned, it involves the verbal and also the non-verbal communication. Now, this communication is probably very important as far as your elucidating. How do you come to know if if you don't communicate only, whether it is in the group or whether it in the interview, or if you give a blank paper in your psychological test, then it makes no sense. Similarly, as far as your heart or the social adjustment qualities are concerned, now in this you will have to see that they have social adaptability, cooperation, and responsibility, sense of responsibility, which is also called an SOR. Now, these are the qualities which are which were considered as the core qualities by the DIPR some time back, wherein it is more difficult to train a person on these qualities. Like, no, how is your heart? Are you selfish? Do you take responsibility? What are your morals? Or probably moral courage also comes under this. Okay. How do you take on do you have courage of conviction? How disciplined are you? Do you have self discipline? Or how do you approach others? Do you have the empathy? Do you have the tact which is required by an officer? These qualities all come under the qualities of the heart. Now then comes your qualities of your gut or your leadership qualities. Now if you need self confidence, then initiative, speed of decision. This is what makes you the leader in the group or whichever social setting you are in. Then ability to influence group. Do you actually um, use authority, or do you give convincing arguments, and things like that are seen. Thereafter, what's your liveliness? This is again a very important quality. If we all face problems and I would say disappointments, how do you bounce back? Or under difficult conditions, do you have cheer? Do you have the sense of humor to uplift the other people in difficult conditions? Such things come under liveliness. Now, as far as the quality dynamic is considered, you will find that determination, which is perseverance, or your goal orientedness. Then comes your physical courage. This is not the same as the bravery. This is physical courage. Moral courage, factor 2. As far as physical courage is concerned, it is coming here. And then the stamina, wherein you will find the physical stamina and also the mental stamina. So these two things are checked, and they combine to become stamina. Now, these officer like qualities, which are 15, which have been formulated by the DIPR, this is what is being followed when the three techniques are assessing you. When they assess you, they will assess with respect to the qualities. Now, we will talk about the first technique, because first test itself is going to be psych test, and which forms the part of, like, if you consider the three techniques: manasa, vacha, karma. Manasa is your psych, vacha is the interview, and karmana is your group testing. And if you look at it in a different way, you will find that manasa is all within yourself, vacha is one to one, and karmana is one with many. Now, this is one analogy which we have been reading in, like when we say, no, manasa, vacha, karmana, you do it. So that means the personality is his soul, heart, and all, and his actions are all going in one direction. So that is a different analogy which I would like to mention. And this psych usage of psych techniques started after the World War One, when the Germans lost. That is the period from around 1910 to 1920, 20 to 25 and all. There was a lot of development in psychology. A number of theories came, and Gordon Allport and all, they have given theories which was utilized to make something called as projective techniques. Like if you read the classics like Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, the hero Darcy actually buys commission for Wickham. So he makes him an officer. So in those days, before the World War One, in the 18th and 19th early days, they used to be the king used to be pleased by giving, and this is the same system which we used to have Subedar or Jagirdar or something like that. So Dutch people only could become officers. Now, after the World War One, when the Germans wanted to get back again, they realized that they want leaders of men to be as officers in their armed forces. So they actually got that, and from as a contemporary thing, the British took over, and we being Royal Indian Army those days, or Indian Armed Forces, so we also got it from there, and then DAPR actually modified the techniques and gave it in the year 1956. This is just for information. Otherwise, as far as the Manasa technique is concerned, Psychological or psychometric testing is based on the principles of projective testing. In this, there is a series of tests like the TAT, VAT, SRT, and the SD, which we call up. It is believed that the responses of these tests are an outcome of the candidate's personality traits, and thus an estimation of his or her traits can be made by going through the candidate's response to the stimuli. So, if you were given a situation, how do you respond is being noted, and then in total they try to see what is your personality. Okay. Now, this is again dealing with the three parts, the tip of an iceberg, which they talk of, like the portion which is seen, which is the conscious mind, and what is subconscious or semi-conscious mind has got a lot of thing which is much more than what is visible. So, in this, number of um, traits, tendencies are visible to the psychologist who is trained to do that particular job. Now, the Manasa technique believes that personality is defined as a particular combination of emotional, attitudinal, and behavioral response patterns of an individual. So, when a pattern is seen, so this is one of the important things. It is a misconception outside where some of the students tell me, "Sir, one story I wrote like this, and that is why everything has been done." It is not done in that way. There's a principle called as Gestalt, where they apply it and then they see and then they confirm and then they come to a conclusion about a particular individual. Remember that what is being seen in the personality test in the service selection board is your suitability to join the armed forces. So this is a very important point which you must remember. Now we'll go briefly about the thematic apperception test. It involves describing ambiguous scenes to learn more about person's emotions, motivations, and personality. Basically, you will be shown a picture for 30 seconds. Thereafter, you will write a story for 4 minutes. There are a total number of 12 pictures which will be shown. And mind you, when I wrote this, I did not know that the 12th one is going to be blank. So, there is a methodology with which it has been evolved, which is known to the psychologists and the DAPR. But as far as you know that there are 11 pictures, and then there will be the 12th picture, which will be blank, which will be writing. Now, the time limit is imposed to assess the aspirant's natural response because they want to check your natural response. So, that is why it is advised to have spontaneity. Okay, even though you are trained and all, remember that spontaneous reactions will always be yours. Now, as far as uh, the word association test is concerned, it is basically a personality and mental function in which the subject is required to respond to each of the series of the word with the first word that comes into mind, or with a sentence. A lot of people ask me, is a sentence compulsory to write? Actually, the first reaction, if it is coming out as a sentence, it is good. But what is the first reaction? Now, in this, like I will give you an example of flower. Somebody very religious and pious will say, flower means he'll remember puja, he'll remember a garland on Lord Krishna, or something like that. Now, why the same thing? Mr. Pushpa will say, it is fire or wildfire. So that is actually showing the inner thought process. So that is how they do it. Or somebody says mother, somebody says affection, somebody says love, and someone else will say selfless love. Now there is a difference in the perception and the attitude. Then there are other words, negative words also there. There will be a word like table, chair, like there will be different words, and there is a method in which they have created the test and actually ask you to write 60 words in about 15 seconds. So you will find that people who are using their conscious mind and trying to manipulate it, they don't end up finishing the 60 words. So the time limit has been intentionally put so that you get your inner response. So thereafter you come on to the situation reaction test. The goal of this test is to see if a candidate has the psychological strength to deal with usual circumstances. The answers tend to reflect the candidate's personality, represented by conscious and probably semi or subconscious mind. Now, in this, you will get 60 situations based on the SRT, wherein you will get about 30 minutes are given. So, half a minute for each situation. Now, in this, you must remember that you will have to give, if you keep thinking what is supposed to be done, then you will not get the time. So the natural response, like for example, here I am giving just an example. He was a candidate for school captain, but his rival had very strong supporters. So basically he or she or whatever it is, like you will find that these kind of responses will in totality give you a certain input to the psychologist while he is assessing you. Some of his friends were in the habit of missing classes and they were forcing him also to do the same. So these kind of situations will be there and you will have to give response to that in the written form. Thereafter, as far as Manasa is concerned, you will find that self-description test, wherein a few questions will be asked and you will be writing mostly, or rather, they are on your own self. Like, what do your parents think of you, or what is the teacher's opinion about you, or probably if you are working, probably your employees' opinion. What do your friends and colleagues think? And or rather, this is what is your friend's opinion about you, and what do you think of yourself? What is your own opinion about yourself, and what would you like to improve upon? So you will get 15 minutes, and you have to answer 5 questions. So mostly it will be around 3 minutes. So you will have to write it down in that manner, and you should not just make 1-2 pages about your parents' opinion only. Then you will miss out on the rest 4 of the questions. Now remember that handwriting does matter here. If it is not legible, then you are basically torturing the psychologist. Now, you should also remember that spontaneous responses, presence of mind will obviously keep you in better condition. And be genuine. Do not bluff or try to fake. Assessment is done keeping the entire written material or the dossier into consideration. It is not only that you have performed very well SRT or WAT, and then he's going to, it's in totality. And as far as the PIQ is concerned, he correlates with your stories, PIQ, and then he also correlates with your VAT, your SRT, and your self description. And once they all match, then he's going to give you a particular kind of assessment. So, this is how the Manasa technique is actually operating in the semi-selection board. Okay. Now I move on to the next technique, which is the Vacha technique or the interview. It basically based on the life history approach. It is one-on-one interview. So unlike and it's a personal interview. I have seen a number of candidates tell me that they want to go in high amount of detail towards technical information about the general knowledge or current affairs. See, your personality is being assessed. So, having general knowledge and having service knowledge is definitely important, but it cannot be. It's not a quiz competition. Okay. Now, this you will have to remember because most of the CIQs, which they call it as, they are about your own life. Personal interview may be conducted on any of the 3 days, that is second, third, fourth. The interviewing officer, based on the data which you have given in PIQ, like if you have not mentioned that you are a national swimmer, so he is not going to imagine. It might come out in the interview that you have done it, but it's important to write to make your own life comfortable in the interview. So PIQ has to be appropriately written correctly, and he is going to be asking about your family, how you have studied, your participation in sports, extracurricular activities, hobbies, responsibilities, and probably if you want to join the armed forces. Like many candidates are asked, how does an aeroplane fly? What is the principle? Or what is the difference in the principle of an aeroplane and a helicopter? Or which aeroplane do you want to fly if at all you come for the pilot's branch, and why? If you are saying I want to become a Su-30 pilot, then it's basic that you know a little bit about the aeroplane. Or if you are asked a question, what is the difference between a frigate and a destroyer or a corvette? You want to become a commando, you should know something about para operations or special forces. Certain things you must know. Okay, and if you uh, gen up or if you make yourself conversant with this information, you will be able to perform better in your interview, and you will find that the interviewing officers are generally more senior to the other technical officers. Then you will find a major general taking an interview of a candidate who is 16 and a half or 17 years. So you will find that uh, they are mature people who are speaking with you. So there are, you are speaking to mature people, and you will have to be consistent in your answers. You cannot be moody. You should have been prepared for the interviews similarly. And thereafter, the timing of the interview, this again, number of people ask me, my interview was 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You are counting. See, he is trying to find out your personality. So you need not, I repeat again, you need not be worried about how much time he is taking to find what you are. So your job should be to answer straightforward, have your eye contact, don't bluff, don't try to lie, because this is a short way of getting out of the system. If you start lying or if you start, don't care about everything in your life. So these are basics, because he's again checking your personality based on what you have done. It works on the principle that the past has made you a present. Now your present is going to make your future. It's very simple. Like you have been a good student also, so it is assumed that you will study to a certain extent in future also. Okay. So, and how you have been approaching your life's problems, because these questions will be asked. And if you start telling about your friends and what kind of relationship you have with your friends, because tomorrow you will have the similar relationship with your colleagues. So, this is what is important as far as the interviewing technique is concerned. And you will find that this technique, it is as it is one on one. So, you can actually, I would say that this is for the shortest duration. But because senior people are taking it, you must consider that aspect also into consideration. Now comes the technique which I was trained and practiced. I have practiced this technique, which is called as the group testing technique. Again, it is on the second, third, fourth day. Now, it determines an individual's ability to function in a group. See, first we talked of within yourself, that is Manasa. Vacha is one on one with the interviewing officer. Now it is one with many. Now, why is that? The group is generally between 6 to 10 only. Okay, depending on the administrative other aspects concerned, the group is always done from 6 to 10 people. Now, in this, they will be checking your functional ability, as I told you. Functional ability कैसे होता है? Like based on how you are functioning in the group, they will see whether you are suitable for the armed forces or not. Now, this has probably the oldest technique is the interview technique. Thereafter, the side technique came up, and this is the youngest technique you can say, and it's more structured technique, I would say, because I will tell you how why it is more structured. It is based on 6 psychosociological principles, and this is the principles are group development, installed, social field, consistency, free association, sociometry. You need not worry about the principle part. What you need to be worried about is they will be checking your group effectiveness across various situations, just like your psychological test, wherein or in your CAQs, shifts from family to your academics to your extracurriculars. Here, what we are doing is we expose you to situations which are practical and also abstract in nature. Now, this has got an element of both the practical aspect and also the abstract aspect. Now, we see the group effectiveness across various situations, the sum total of individual contribution towards the group and its goal. Now, you remember, you might be very nice with the group members, and if you don't have anything to contribute towards the goal or the task, then it will not help you. And you will have to perform with the group and towards the task also. So, both are very important. Now, there are 9 tasks in this, as I have told you. Now, it is divided into 3 series: basic series, confirmatory series, and the final series. Now, the basic series has got 4 tasks, and they are group discussion, wherein there will be 2 discussion topics, and the second one is about the group planning exercise. Now, this is wherein you will be given in the group planning exercise like this. There will be a model, there will be a few problems, so you will find the abstract solutions to this. As far as the PGT and the or the progressive group task is concerned, you are finding practical solutions to the problems which are practical, and thereafter you will go to the group obstacle race, wherein you compete with the other group. So again, here you are trying to compete with other groups, wherein again there is an element of risk involved in this. So then you come on to the confirmatory series, which is the half group task, lecture, individual obstacles, and command task. And the last one, which is called as the final series, in which you will, there is something called as final group task. In this, these 3 series are individually observed, and as far as the basic series is concerned, you will find the group discussion, the group planning exercise, the progressive group task, and also the group obstacle race. Now, in all 4 tasks, you will be functioning as one group, whether you are 8 or 10 or 6 or whatever it is, you are functioning as this group, and in this group, the GTO will be interfering to the minimum. You will find that there are certain psychological principles for which are gestalt, and the group development principle also is followed here, wherein you will find that the GD, there will be 2 discussions. GP, there will be a written solution for the problems, and also there will be a group discussion, which is a purposive discussion, wherein you will get onto the great group solution. And in the PGT, there will be 4 obstacles, wherein the degree of difficulty progressively increases in the PGT. And then in GOR, there will be 6 obstacles. This is a race with, or it's also called as a snake race, because you will have a load which is slightly long and unwieldy. More than 3 people will be carrying it at a particular time, and you will find that this race you will be competing with the other races, other groups. So all these 4 tasks, the sequence is never changed as per the book, and you will find that generally GP general India, this is how it is done. It's more like a German drill. And GD, GP, GR. This is the continuous sequence which will be there. And immediately after the GOR, you will have the half group task, which is part of the confirmatory series. Okay. Now this becomes this entire set of 4 plus 1 till HGT, they will be done in one sequence and they will not be stopping anywhere. And you will find that this is the half group task is the first task wherein the group is divided into two halves and they will be given a similar obstacle to solve within a given time. Now remember, everything is time bound. Okay, in this you will again find solutions to problems which are of practical in nature. Then comes your lecture, wherein you will be given 3 minutes to prepare and you will speak for 3 minutes to the rest of the group. In the Army and Naval Code, the my brief introduction by the candidate is done during the lecturate, and as far as the airforce is concerned, this thing is done before the first discussion. So this will be your day one in most of the day one of GT day one, not the day one of your reporting. This will be the GT day one. In the day two, you will have command task, individual obstacles, and thereafter you will have the final group task. Now, as far as the final group series is concerned, which is it has got only one task, where you will again be unified as one single group and then given one obstacle similar to that of PGT, wherein you can a fixed time of 40 to 45 minutes, wherein you will find that the group again. So, what is happening here? First, you do certain amount of tasks as a group. Thereafter, you will be split into small or groups, and I did not mention about the command task. Command task is a task wherein you get the leadership role or you are given your by nomination you become the commander where the sole responsibility of the task is yours. In this task is the time where the GTO meets you for the first time face to face, and he will detains you, and thereafter you will get that obstacle and you will find that this obstacle, just to increase the fun level, he might give you probably a different situation than what actually is there. Then he will say, okay, alternate. If this is not there, that is not there. Such things happen in the command task, and this happens only in that. And then in individual obstacles, you will be doing 10 obstacles in a given time of 3 minutes. Now, these obstacles are rather, you can say you can do it in whichever sequence you want, and you can repeat them if you finish all the 1 to 10. Okay. So this is as far as the confirmatory series is concerned, and I had just missed out one point, so that's why I covered it. And as far as the final group task is concerned, it is again like what I had mentioned, and then you will find that in the 3 series, the group effectiveness in all the 3 series is evaluated in totality. Now it becomes that there is a principle called consistency. Now, if the candidate, it is applicable into the other techniques also. Even in the interview, if your behavior is consistent, then we consider that as a quality. If your behavior is not consistent, then you can be considered as an inconsistent person. And why there are so different, I would say, fields, or like there is one field which is called as a group discussion, where your abstract knowledge is being checked. When it comes to group planning, you are checking your abstract planning. When it comes to PGT, half group task, command task, what is being checked? Your or the final group task, your practical planning and implementation. See, sometimes you might be a good planner, but while implementation you might have certain I would say, problems which you face. You plan it correctly, but you want somebody to assist you. Okay. So if are you able to do that also? And when it comes to GOR and individual obstacles, it is a, I would say, task where you are facing physical risk. Lecturate is again abstract knowledge. So these are the tasks wherein what is happening. Just like when I used to be an instructor in NDA, I used to find what is the logic behind so many um, competitions in the camps which are conducted for the cadets there. Like Camp Rover, which is considered as one of the toughest camp for that age group. In that, you have an approach march, you have bivouac pitching, where you make those bivouacs or the tents, you can call that, and thereafter you will have a map reading exercise. Okay. Then you will have a night march. Then you will have a Josh Run 1, Josh Run 2, and probably a final Josh Run. Then you also have Khana Pakao. Then you have an entertainment program. Then you will have the competition. I'm not talking about program only. Then you will have another competition of the camp games like tug of war or some obstacle race. So what is happening is you are checking the person or you are giving an opportunity to the candidate or you are exposing him to a wide range of situations. So that is what is happening in the group testing, where you got different social fields and your performance in totality, as put on the slide, in the three series is evaluated, and the underlying pattern of behavior across the various situation in context with the group is seen, and then you are assessed accordingly. Now, this comes the other part. One second. Now, once all the three techniques testing has finished on the day 1, 2, 3, 4, now you must remember that the person who is assessing a candidate in one technique does not know who is his GTO. Like suppose I am a psychologist, I don't know a particular chest number 10. Chest number 10 इंटरव्यू कौन कर रहा है या ग्रुप टेस्टिंग कौन कर रहा है किसी को पता नहीं होता है. You do it independently. This is one of the strengths of this service selection board ka technique, wherein you will find that uh, independent assessment is done, and then they come on to the conference hall. As far as the assessment is concerned, you observe the candidate. I will talk about GT. Similar analogies applicable to the other two techniques also. You see the person through the test battery, then you write what he has actually done, and then you will give a particular assessment on the 15 OLQs. There will be some strengths and some limitations, and there is a particular shade which is given. Like, for example, courage. You will say that he is initially hesitant, but once he gets into the situation, he doesn't back off. That is one kind of a person. The other person is he's very plucky. He wants to, he actually he's looking forward for a risky situation wherein he will jump and do it. So that is a different shade. So these kind of shades are made, or probably you will say that he is able to speak eloquently, or he's got a uh, mild strained expression, or he takes time but takes an appropriate decision. Somebody takes that is about speed of decision. So like this shades are made and then they get on to the marks of, after giving a particular tick which we call, and then the marks which are allotted for the psychologist are 225, the GTO is 225, and the interviewing officer is also 225. Now a number of videos I have also seen where people are saying this is pass, that is pass. It is based on the personality. You might find then these 3 marks are added up to a particular level wherein if somebody is above 240 and there are certain conditions which as a candidate you need not know, you will find that this candidate, or in fact all the candidates, there are 4 categories in one of my videos I have mentioned, whether all three have a good assessment and they want to go along, or there are one person has got some hesitation and then he gets convinced, and all such things happen, and it is basically based on the performance and the suitability. Now, in this, I would like to mention here that while assessment, my instructor has taught me that while assessment, the benefit of doubt goes to the candidate, while in the conference, the benefit of doubt goes to the organization, or in my case, Indian Air Force or Indian Army or Indian Navy likewise. So the recommendation will be done responsibly amongst the 3 assessors, wherein you will find that if the personality which is evolving in the 3 techniques, if it is going towards a particular direction, then you start recommending the person. One second. Yeah, yeah. Um, that is why I'm covering in this lecture. The same procedure is there for NDA, afcat, or probably CDS, NCC entry, or whichever entry. So one of the comment I just saw. So it is the same thing. I'll just check 1 second. Please give me a second. Okay. Sir, I was conference out on 21st February from afcat entry. Our GTO didn't allow us to do the PGT, HGT, and FGT. When we started, he asked, I may not be able to immediately tell you what exactly must have happened there. However, I don't think he will tell you if you are coached. See, if an individual is coached, he's actually putting in efforts to learn a particular thing. So coaching ka, I'll just finish this and thereafter I'll answer your question. Okay. So the 3 techniques people will actually decide, and then you will find that the conference also has got 225 marks, in which the GTO initially gives out of 56 marks, 56 marks as far as the psych is concerned, 113 by the interviewing officer. Earlier, before 1970 or 75, I don't remember the exact date, there used to be a clinical psychologist also who used to be present in the conference. So he also had about 56, 57 marks or whatever. So this is how it used to be. Now it has gone to the interviewing officer, and that is what is being continued. And then thereafter, you will get for the total of 900. Now anything above 360 is pass. So this is what I had covered in the last time. And then the decision to recommendation ka decision is accordingly taken in that. Now I will just answer this question uh, of candidate called as Himanshu Chaudhary. Sir, I was conference out on so and so day. Um, from after entry, our GTO didn't allow us to do. See, I don't think the GTO is there punishing you because you are all coached. There will be some other group dynamics in that. If at all he's asked you to see, as far as the PGT is concerned, the I will interfere only if somebody is going to get injured or if the group is stuck. See, there are certain times when the group is not progressing because of their own internal dynamics. So don't take that statement as literally correct. And I hope I have answered your question. It is not done in that spirit. If he has told you not to do this, maybe some injury is there, or probably that it may not be yielding a correct solution. See, a lot of coaching. See, why? What happens in the coaching? I tell you. What happens in the coaching is if you are able to grasp it, your level goes higher. If you are not able to grasp the concept, you are actually making a fool out of yourself in the sense that if you don't apply the solution, see, generally people think that group testing is a solution based technique. No, it is not so. It is a behavior based technique. See, if your group is not cooperating with each other or not trying to do the things correctly, then he might have stopped. This is my, I would say, observation on this. I hope I've been able to answer the question. Okay. Okay. I'll move on to the next part, which is so the conference is the place where all three assessors will pool in their ideas and decide whether they should recommend a particular individual or not. Now, once you clear the SSB, then obviously after the conference, the results of the candidate are announced and you will have the conduct of the CPSS on the day 6 for the, which I have already mentioned once, that the conduct of the CPSS will be done on day 6, which will be followed by the medicals depending on the selection board and the medical agency which is available, and a word of uh, convenience is also taken from the candidate in order to give you the date for medicals. Like especially I told you for the class 12th candidates, it is important that they will be, I would say, asked when are their board exams and things like that. Then comes the compilation of merit list in the service headquarters, whether it is Army, Navy, Air Force, or whatever. In case of NDA entry, you will find that that all is done by the DG recruiting. So they will compile the results, and then the UPSC marks are also taken. And then, if, as I told you in the previous lecture, that there will be 900 marks for the UPSC or the written exam, and then there will be 900 marks for your SSB marks, and there will be, like in this SSB marks, as far as the pilot's branch is concerned, this will be reduced to 600 and 300 marks will go to CPSS marks. That is why when I told you in the beginning that the written marks have got, I would say, a bigger impact when it comes to your overall merit. And thereafter, once your compilation of merit list is done, thereafter you will be call letter. In case of NDA entry, like if you see, if you write the exam on 13th of April, you will be joining the uh, NDA in December. If you write the exam of September, then you will be joining in June next year. So this is how the overall call letter and the will come. Now, a few points which you must remember here is when it comes to the SSB, please don't think that the answer to Himanshi Chaudhary lies here also. See, I have assessed about 300 candidates, and out of them, around there is a calculation which is, or rather, I would say, data collection is also done. See, 600 of my people have made it, or rather they have cleared the SSB. If it was 601, it gives me happiness. So never think that the assessor is trying to fail you. It is on your own personality and your suitability. Somebody might be very intelligent, जिसका head का qualities बहुत अच्छा है, or maybe is uh, he's got limitations in a different category. Maybe he doesn't like to cooperate so easily, or he's very dominating, he's very rigid, or he's got a poor opinion about a different gender. And these are the things which will restrict the person. Okay, it is done in good faith, and you will have to uh, remember that you will have to give in your best to pass. And another aspect regarding the conference is certain people think that majority of the decision is only being taken after you have been called inside. No, it is not like that. Your individual assessment has been done by 3 people. Probably you are being asked a few more questions because it wants to clarify one of the assessors who had, or it is to bring out the officer like qualities. He's maybe having some kind of hesitation. He will overcome that and maybe he'll pass you, or probably he'll hold on, depending on the responses you have given. Now, are there any questions apart from? Let me take on. Okay, Dikshant Kumar Jain, sir. Okay, Neha Panwar. Sir, in the VAT, we can answer one word instead of writing sentence like mother, selfless love. Okay, I understood. See, you can give the, if you remember the slide, I had mentioned that it is not that you have to create a full sentence. See, word association, matlab, if you are being given a particular word, what things strikes you most? That is what is being asked. Father, somebody says responsible. Like I will write father takes responsibility of the house. That is a sentence. If I just say responsibility, it's better than writing the full sentence because you are short on time. I'm not saying your aim is to give only one word. Your aim is to give the first response. Okay. So I hope I have answered your question. Basically, you are giving like mother selfless love. See, mother shows selfless love is a sentence. You have given selfless love, you are doing the best. And if I am remembering it, I will write a few more. Like I will write the next word if I take friend. Friend means trust. Okay. Loyal. 3 word लिख सकता हूँ ना. I am giving more adjectives to it. No? That way I am not wasting like friends are loyal, friends are friends. Trust. Friendship is made on trust. It is better than writing friends. A friend in need is friend indeed. Even that's okay. I'm not saying this is not done on only on one word. I hope I have answered your question, Neha. Okay. Understood? Any other question? Okay, then. With this, we finish. And in the subsequent lectures, I am going to cover the individual techniques in more detail. And if you like my videos and if you want more of them, please like, share, comment, and subscribe SAINIK Gurukul channel. And I would also like to take this opportunity to tell you that for the April 13th NDA exam, we are having a mock test batch which will start around 15th of March. And we have both online and offline modes for it. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.